absolutely. Super informal. It's more of a vlog style. So my biggest question, I was talking to the gentleman about the Raptor, right? And he mentioned the 10R60 was the transmission of choice. And I know folks that are looking to move from their current Ranger, which is equipped with the 10R80, is it the 10R80 or is it the 10R60?
No, it's the 10R60.
Okay, so all throughout the board it's going to be 10R60.
It's a 10R60, you got it, yeah.
So was there a reason why the current Rangers had the 80s move into the 60s?
You know, it's all about matching the weight of the vehicle and the output of the engine to the transmission.
Okay.
The 10R60 is incredibly capable as a transmission all on its own. I mean, heck, you know, it's on the Broncos. It's across the entire world. I mean, we sell, I forget how many of these we sell, you know, around the world. But when I said it's the F-150 of the world, I was not kidding.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So the 10R60 was just the right matching for the product.
Gotcha.
It wasn't. We didn't make any trade-offs, any negative trade-offs in going to the 10R60.
Gotcha. Rear axle, Dana 44, I think an M220 rear on the current Rangers. Shared rear axle with like JL Rubicon stuff. Is that the same rear axle in all the Rangers across the board?
Yes, it is.
Okay, perfect. Any changes in the front? So I think some of the questions that other people might have would be how much of the front powertrain drivetrain matches with the Broncos?
A good bit.
Okay.
From a build process standpoint, right? They both assembled at Michigan Assembly Plant, and so if you consider that an operator is installing like an AIS, an air induction system, you can't have that going on at a station that's like 20 minutes down the line or 10 minutes higher up on the line. Ideally, you want to be installing parts exactly on the same spot on whatever's coming down the line. That's how you drive minimal complexity for the operator. That way he or she can do a better job and give you better quality. So the bill of process it's almost identical. I mean, I'm going to say there's going to be some uniqueness, but the bill of process is extremely similar with Bronco. So accordingly, the Bronco 2.3 liter was packaged based on where the 2.3 liter was on this one.
Gotcha.
And then the 2.7, obviously the Bronco launched first, so the 2.7, the 703, and we're still in the middle of launch, but we are, we try to make sure that they are as similar as possible.
Absolutely.
So, obviously, Bronco has a snorkel, right, on the Everglades. We don't have a snorkel, right? And so when they did the snorkel, they had to do some tweaks uniquely to be able to enable that. I think maybe some other little small changes, like maybe our battery might be cocked like an extra 3 degrees, inboard. So little small differences like that that are again package driven, but for the most part they are pretty similar. Again, it's the same architecture, right?
So
T6 architecture.
I noticed on the Fender design, it's more of an open, right? The gentleman over there was talking about the vent on the actual side panel, which is really cool because most manufacturers it looks like they're going back to the fake vent stuff of like the late 90s, right? It looks like possibly there might be an option to add a snorkel, OEM Ford performance type snorkel like the Everglades eventually.
I would not say that someone may not be working on
okay all right, I got it.
This one, the new Ranger launched with 300 plus accessories, rest of the world, and we're launching it here now. So it's a vehicle where people customize, and so we absolutely are thinking about a lot of opportunities, a lot of things along those lines. In terms of a snorkel, can I officially say that we've got one coming to be similar to Everglades? I can't say that. Okay. But obviously, we don't comment on future products.
Sure, no, absolutely.
But if someone were industrial and they said, hey, I think I'm comfortable yanking off the side badge off my vehicle and 3D printing something that attaches perfectly so I can put a snorkel. I think that capability should be there. It's doable, I'll say.
Yeah. Is that the horn?
Yes, it is one of them.
Okay, so that's really cool because that's one of the things about the 19s. It's like down here.
How many have you got?
So when mine stopped working when off-roading, right? Water, it starts to get really weak, and then it dries out, and then it comes back. So yours went bad.
You went through 5. Whoa.
But it's cool. It's cool to see.
Okay. Oh yeah.
It's cool to see that it is mounted up higher. So those of you that have had horn failures.
In Thailand, they get a lot of water.
Yeah.
They get, monsoon season. I mean, that's real rain, and this vehicle is extremely popular in the ASEAN region.
Oh yeah.
So we've absolutely improved on. They've got that because it's
trickle
powering
charge.
up. Overnight they
trickle charge.
Exactly. So they're all. In fact, if you open the other ones, they're all going to be kind of the same way.
Yeah, we saw that.
But yes, we've absolutely, we learned from our experiences in the field, right? Whatever warranty issue you have, that's stuff that you address when you redesign.
Yeah.
And this is an all new Ranger. So, some of the sins of the past or some of the inefficiencies.
It's just an evolution.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Yep. Other question I had. So, something that I see, I'm in a lot of the Bronco groups. Obviously, we've been in the Ranger groups for quite a long time. Alternator location. I know I was, saying, man, Ford Performance could probably make a killing selling a Ford Performance sealed alternator for the off-road enthusiast that would work on the Broncos and the Rangers. Maybe it's a product suggestion, right? I know sealed alternators are a thing. I know I would probably pay like $1,200, $1,000 for a sealed alternator, knowing that it's a Ford warranted item to where if I got it installed at a dealership, they would be covered, right? If the alternator ever fails. I know in the Ranger communities, mudding off-road, the lower position of the alternator would get into the brushes, right, and cause a problem. Might just suggestion,
No.
something like that.
I hear you. I know that we spend a lot of time shielding.
Okay. Yep.
Oftentimes, if you don't put the money to the component, where you beef at the component to make it just super capable and completely proof, then you got to put shielding in the right spots and you make a good point. If you remove the shielding and all the fasteners to hold the shielding up and then the labor to install it, you could probably just put that money into engineering the component to be sealed.
Sure. Yep.
And then I've had conversations with Ford Customer Service Division accessories folks.
Yep. Okay.
And they tend, hey Georgia, how are you?
Hey.
Good, how are you?
Good.
Pretty good.
Here in
Just
case
hanging out.
there's anything that we need to follow up on, so I'll take notes. If you guys have questions or anything like that.
All right. Yeah. Cool. And we've actually had conversations on offering accessories that are more electrical related,
Sure. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They may require interfacing with the graphical user interface.
Yep.
I mean, today it's a different world today than it was 10 years ago, than it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And in terms of customization, I mean, people may want to customize, their instrument cluster, their center screen. So watch this space. I think that's absolutely.
That's really cool to see. I think my biggest concern as a Ranger owner that didn't decide to move to the Bronco, we ended up just getting an Explorer ST and keeping our built Ranger. One, it's just being here has made me more likely to sell my current Ranger and start investing into the Raptor. So that's nice. But it would be cool to see as much promotion and off-road content as far as the Ranger goes, seeing more of that alongside with the Bronco. Because I think the most non-enthusiast community doesn't know the capabilities of how much you can off-road the Ranger, and the pluses of having the bed space. And now it's very similar to the Bronco, so that continuity across all the vehicles, the F-150, the Bronco, the Ranger now, inside, it's a very familiar feel and it's a familiar look. So that's really cool to see now that it's updated. So yeah, I mean, it's cool to see that Ford is putting out the effort and pushing this new Ranger out, similar to the Bronco.
Yeah, absolutely. When we first launched the current on-sale Ranger, right, the P375 version, which was a bit long in the tooth, right? Because it had already launched in the rest of the world and had been in production for a number of years. Yeah. And then we brought it to North America. It came late, and it quickly became number 2. Yeah. So, and the number 1 is a perennial number 1, taco.
Yep, the Tacoma,
right? But for being on the scene late, being a challenger brand, essentially, in that segment, and becoming number 2 quickly, it says a lot about the product. I mean, we were sold out. And then since then, we launched Bronco,
Yep.
the same assembly plant. And so today, you know, our challenges are building, you know, because Bronco
Yeah.
is sold out
Yeah.
for years.
Yeah.
And so, giving all the Broncos that the customers are demanding,
Mm-hmm.
and still being able to do this. So I mean, now our problem is,
Yeah.
you know, we can't build enough of both of them.
Yep.
We got to try to flex and
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
adding capacity, etc. But it is an extremely capable, right? I like to say right-sized vehicle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And look, I'm not knocking Maverick.
Yeah.
Like I like the Maverick a lot.
Yep.
But in terms of going off road, I mean,
Yeah.
this is
I
fully capable.
for sure.
You could take it anywhere.
I feel like there's a market where you have the Maverick crowd that goes to Home Depot, grabs some wood. They don't need a Super Duty. They don't need a Ranger. They just run errands in it, right? I would love a Maverick as a daily driver.
Yeah.
Amazing fuel economy. I mean,
Yeah.
a standard F has, you know,
Exactly.
HEV says a lot. I think they've got like 40 plus miles per gallon.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
I was a fan of the mini truck scene long time ago.
Look at that.
And it's cool to see like the smaller trucks starting to come back. So